Are you struggling to stay productive at home? In this video, I've got 5 of my personal strategies that I want to share with you guys and help you stay productive at home. Number 1, Parkinsons Law. Have you ever noticed that when you give a task a certain amount of time, it always takes that amount of time to do it? Let's look at the average 9 to 5 worker. Do you think that it really takes them 8 hours to do what they have to do that day? I don't think it does. If we had people work in 4 hours instead of 8 each day, I guarantee that they would become hyper productive. This is because of Parkinson's Law. The amount of time that you give a task, it will expand to that time frame. So the first thing is give yourself a deadline for what you got to do each day. You got to stay organized. What I always do is I have MPD I write down, and then I realize, well, what should I do that day and what time frames am I going to do those tasks in? That keeps me organized, and I can stay on top of what I need to do that day. From 6 to 7, I'm going to do this. From 7 to 8, I'm going to do this. From 8 to 10, I'm going to do this. And I can actually get my whole morning blocked out and give myself deadlines to do the things that are most important, and then the rest I can do later. So that is what I recommend for strategy number 1. Have a plan and stay organized with a deadline. Number 2, do the worst thing in the morning. A perfect example is, let's say you need to do your taxes. Do the taxes first thing in the morning. As soon as you wake up, just get your coffee, get all set up, and just tackle those taxes. It sucks. We all know it. No one wants to deal with taxes, but it's a great example of tackling the crappy thing in the morning so that you can already start off the day with a win. Because as the day progresses, your willpower and motivation is not going to be there. That's why people, after working all day and coming home, it's so hard for them to stay productive and do production tasks like starting a business or something like that, because they're so tired and drained from giving all of their willpower and decision making and all their thought energy into the job that when they come home, all they can do is consume, which is why you get people doing TV and reading vampire books and all this nonsense. That is why, is because they've drained their meter. It's like a video game. So the second strategy is align the hard tasks in the morning and get those done right away in the morning before you start anything else. Number 3, get away from distractions. Do you have Benny the dog running around? Do you got kids running around screaming? They're playing with each other. They're shooting each other with the Nerf guns and stuff. You don't have time for that. You can't focus with that going on in the background. So how do you solve that? You've got to find a way to pivot from that. And how do you do that? It goes back to the morning. You've got to wake up early in the morning when when your kids aren't up, when your husband's not up, or your wife's not up, or people aren't bothering you on your smartphone. You have to wake up early in the morning and get the hard stuff done, and I guarantee the distractions won't even be an issue. Nobody's up at that time. That's the great part. So nobody's going to be bothering you. Your smartphone's not going to be blowing up, and it is the prime time to do stuff in the morning. Number 4, have a place that you always consistently go to do your work. This will condition your brain just like it will be conditioned when you only sleep in your bed. Everybody says go sleep in your bed at night. At this time, have the same routine and only sleep in your bed. Don't read in your bed. Don't watch movies in your bed. Don't do any of that. Only sleep in your bed. The reason for this is that your brain will associate sleeping with the bed. So you always want to make sure that you go and condition yourself to your office. Number 5, pair a reward with doing the work. So if you have to study, say you have a big exam coming up and you want to prepare yourself and you finally force yourself to sit down, pair it with a soda or tea or whatever you want to drink, maybe a smoothie. Make yourself a smoothie. Pair it with something good, delicious, maybe a slice of pizza. Give yourself a reward for sitting down and tackling that thing. If you give yourself a reward each time, it doesn't have to be a lot. You could even do a couple M&Ms. Give yourself a reward for doing the hard thing and pair it so that when you do this routinely, you will actually start to look forward to your routine because you have a nice reward waiting for you. All right, if you guys have stuck around this long, I've got the bonus for you. The bonus is changing your environment around. So if you have a home office, try moving the desk against the window or on the other side of the wall. Change up your whole setup and see how that helps you. Because for a lot of people, it's going to feel weird when you sit back down and you're in a completely different spot. And you can actually use that to start training your brain to be like, hey, we're in focus mode right now, and this is how we're going to do it. And if you apply everything else that I told you before and you change the room around, see how that works. Experiment with it. And if all else fails, if absolutely nothing works and you're just at wit's end, you have some other options. I recommend going to public spaces if they allow people. Not everywhere you can sit and dine in right now and go places, but some of them do. And honestly, getting into a public place, even if it is a little loud, I know I before everything happened, I would like to work at coffee shops and things like that. But before all that stuff happened, they had co-op workspaces and all sorts of things because there is a huge benefit and perk to changing your environment, especially if you have really big decisions and things to make. Changing your environment can really help. So that is my bonus, my final. Rearrange furniture, and if you can, get to a new environment.